Hi, Kathy Vick, deeply awake. Well, I'll just pop in for a second, really. This has been a big, big change, and I know it. For me, it had a little thing to do with that thing that happened to me the other night, where I found myself on the floor and, hey, what's going on here? What's going on with my legs? Because I just, what it reminds me of is some talk that we did a while ago about walk-ins. And the idea here being that one soul just doesn't go, okay, well, I'd rather just die, so, but I know this body is rocking, so somebody else, hey, come over here. It's a relay race. Come on, come on. Boop. And then you leave. It's not quite like that. I think what walk-ins are, I mean, I think that can happen. Let's never say never, right? But I think more oftentimes a walk-in is an expansion. And I think that these activations, certainly this last one, has given me kind of a bird's eye view of it. Because things are definitely changed for me, consciousness-wise. Consciousness-wise. And it's like this, okay? I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but something happens, okay? And you learn something about a situation. Sorry, and the way that you understood it to be, which was the way that you operated and did everything, yeah, you find out that is not, your suppositions were absolutely 100% incorrect. Or they were somewhat correct, but not all the way correct. And the parts that were not correct have bearing on how things are proceeding and will proceed, possibly. Like that. Like going to school and, you know, in an hour the earth science teacher like blows your head away because he explains about how clouds are made. It's like, oh, like that, except about other stuff. Isn't that how we grow and evolve as human beings? I mean, we don't just get a set finite amount of information and then carry on, right? We're always learning and growing. I would certainly hope so. Anyhow, so for me it was I watched like the crowning jewel of documentaries for me, and it just put everything together in a way that I could finally understand my reality. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, that does too. Ding, 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 all in line. It was very beautiful. But then I sat with it for a couple days and thought, holy crap, we're up against this thing that is not very nice and is quite infected. Everything that we see. So, what's a bunch of ragtag hippies who are talking about compassion and love? What are we going to do? How can we possibly make a difference here? Oh, holy crap. That's kind of where I was at for a couple days. Like, such relief that I kind of finally understand the why, because it was just always, why again? I don't understand. Why? Now I got the whys. And it all makes sense. Boom, boom, boom. But then it's like, now what do I do? Now what do I do? Oh, holy crap. So, it does help to hear Crayon say, you know, it takes 1% of the population, la la la. But I always thought, well, that's like the top shelf ascended ones. Those are the ones that were like full on, like glowing in the dark. Oh baby, you don't need a night light. Let me just put on my body, boop, and then you can read. That kind of thing. They're okay, but it's not like that. Sure, there are those who have to lead. Sure. And I can list the people who are, you know, couple moves in front of me on the board of enlightenment, okay? So we're all at different places. But I really do think that there's a bigger plan afoot. Yeah, how else can we fully explain it to ourselves when all over the world there are people like me who are getting the same information, mostly while they're sleeping, and they conduct their lives a lot like me, but they may not have a megaphone like I do. I'm not the only one. So, okay. So we're here. What are we supposed to do? It's got to be more than just sitting on a chair after watching a YouTube documentary going, oh, holy crap. Now what? It's got to be more than that. So with that, I noticed that the screen is quite pixelated. Ah, okay. So, yes. Well, we would say that, of course, the energy these days is quite fast. Quite fast. It's a little bit alarming how quickly things move, and how much is not picked up, and how much is. And we are talking about not so much the mainstream press, but the consciousness as a whole. This is something that we take care of first thing. One of the reasons that we like the Facebook, it's an easy way to get a glimpse. Yes. And it can be done without visuals, of course, but they're nice aids. So, you may notice people start talking about this again. Did you notice it was in the, we would say the 90s, began to be discussed. Oh my, things go so fast these days. Seems like things are speeding up. And we would suggest you going through another one. And it's quite intense. So this is one of the reasons why memory is restored in a new way for some of the old ones, and for the young ones, yes, the linear way of memorizing, well, it's not quite as helpful as others, and the young ones know. They know some things that some old ones know. But the idea here is to be able to see things for what they are. And we would say that this is far more energetic than it is visual. You may use your body innate for this. You may use the reception within the body habitus to make the pictures, the smells, the sounds, But one way or the other, new information is coming in, and the information that is available in the present is fast. So things are coded by emotional variants, and with other keys and codes which may not make the most linear sense. What does this mean for the average person? What does it mean? Well, we would suggest it does mean that these idea of timelines closing, timelines collapsing. It's an interesting concept. We would say that stories are being written quicker. How's that one? You like that one better? Have we not suggested that if you're having a great trouble or trauma in your life, to sit down and write down the story as if you're telling it to a 5-year-old? Include the nefarious stuff. Include the rule-breaking stuff. Include the feelings behind the rule-breaking. You can tell a kid that, can't you? Kid's not going to judge you too much. Kid doesn't know what's right and wrong in dealings. So, explain it. It's a very, very good and helpful endeavor, we say. Because it requires that you hold yourself guiltless, shameless, blameless for activities, decisions, choices, outcomes. Yes, you tell your story to a 5-year-old kid who loves you. Not to tell him a story and puff up his mind, or to engage in any way in blinding him, but simply and honestly explaining what's what. Be surprised. Your own motivations come shining through. And we would suggest the motivator, which is the gold standard, is that of love. And once again we get to the place, what is that? What does it mean? Well, we leave that to you. Love is not a distinction that is conferred by the brain. Love comes from, enlivens, it instructs the heart, which is the bigger brain of the body, we say. And with coherence, breathing into the heart, letting the blood circulate with the color or intention. You blow into that heart. Funny the places you can go. Funny how scales can and do fall from the eyes. So, is it fun when your world falls apart and you have a new understanding about something that's old? Yes. Yes, it's very fun. Why? Why would that be fun? Well, it's like starting over, isn't it? You got the block right there. You can put up the same structure, a completely different one. Yes, it's very interesting how it goes. And so, this is what we were talking about, being in place. That you may be in place and still be shifted quite extraordinarily. Yes. Yes. And as a result of this, well, even in place, new behaviors become, well, we cannot use the word survival. No, not with this. It has to do with elegance. It has to do with skill. It has to do with coherence and alignment. Alignment. Balance. And so, if you go crashing into someone, well, okay. You think you might be forgiven? You think that 5-year-old would like to hear about that one? Yes. The 5-year-old who loves you and only wants to understand why. Why, mommy? Why? Why, daddy? Why? Oftentimes, you get to talking about your story to a young one. You see, your motivations were always that of love. or a reaction to not feeling love. Quite universal. Now, there are bigger things than this afoot, yes. And it brings up a very interesting concept, which we must discuss. What happens when you find yourself involved in something that is no longer something you may tolerate somehow? It doesn't feel good no more. What do you do? Play along? Well, sometimes that's necessary. Depends on the risk. Depends on the stakes. Play along. Not a bad idea sometimes. A way to stay hidden. I would suggest this is not the time to stay hidden. At least to self. And with self beaming from the body, from the mind and heart connected, from a state of coherence, integrity, and alignment. New behaviors flow. New expectations become the norm. And at times, the final push is delivered in sleep by means of a documentary, by means of a conversation, friend to friend, or stranger to stranger. Pushes. Yes. We've talked about how geometrics go through a moment of disorganization prior to establishing a new coherence. So, if you find yourself in the middle of such a thing, remember there's always coherence. The chaos proves it. The chaos proves it. Well, this one, yes, she talks about the white chaos and the dark chaos, or the white noise and the dark noise. And this is further fleshed out now, we say. The inner senses a bit more acute. This is helpful. Less projection and more understanding. We say this is not an unusual path toward clearer thinking and more skilled behavior. Skilled and unskilled will. Everyone has their blind spots. Everyone is allowed to be in story if they wish. But we would recommend that you begin to think that the karma, it is optional. Being on the wheel is optional. Okay. This is all we have to say today. It's a very good day for many things. Brand new. Very, very large, brand new structures. So close. It's an amazing sensation. Suspension and trust fused. We ask you to be kind to self today. Tell no stories about or to self which harm the structure, which tear down the structure, which point out things that are bad or wrong. Think unskilled and unskilled instead. It's more accurate. See you now.